Hello, everyone. Welcome to another BTSE Twitter Space AMA. I'd like to introduce myself before we get started. My name is Hai. I'm a senior marketing manager here at BTSE. For those who haven't heard of BTSE, we're a leading cryptocurrency exchange and a B2B white label solutions provider. We offer both spot and futures trading, as well as staking products and easily accessible fiat on and off ramps. We're always on the lookout for exciting projects with great potential to list, and we strive to provide the best experience for our users. First off, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us and taking part in today's AMA with Impact Market. I'm excited to welcome our guest for today, Marco Barbosa, the co-founder and CEO of Impact Market. He'll be talking to us today about Impact Market and the project's roadmap for the future. So let's start off by welcoming Marco to the Twitter space. Hey, Marco, it's a pleasure to meet you. The last time we co-hosted an AMA with Impact Market earlier this year in March, I understand many things have happened since the last session. Could you start off by telling us a bit about yourself?
Hey, sure. And thank you for having me. I'm Marco Barbosa. I'm Portuguese. I'm a co-founder, currently CEO of ImpactMarkets, background in computer science. And I've been working in the philanthropy, digital payments, and charitable giving and finance for the past more than 10 years. Excited to be here and to let you guys know more about what you're doing.
Great. Thanks, Marco. Thanks for the introduction. We're going to be looking forward to hearing what you guys are up to. Could you briefly introduce us to Impact Market and share with us what the project is all about?
Sure. So basically, Impact Market is what we call an impact-driven open finance protocol. It started as one of the first dApps and protocols being deployed on the Celo network that basically aims to provide financial tools mostly to the developing countries or people with very vulnerable conditions that usually are unbanked. So, for example, the protocol provides access to unconditional basic income, microcredit, learn and earn, mostly in countries like Afghanistan, Togo, Mali, Venezuela, Brazil, Uganda, Nigeria, Philippines, and others, almost 30 developing countries now, in places like refugee camps, Brazilian favelas, farmers. So far, we have been distributed more than $3 million as basic income. Recently, we started to provide also access to microcredits to these communities. And part of all of this, there is a DAO that governs everything, and the DAO automatically kind of rewards the biggest participants. That can be, for example, our donors or backers, or even like borrowers that repay their debts in time.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, so what you just mentioned there leads me into my next question. What did you find that was lacking in the crypto ecosystem, and how did Impact Market tend to fill this void?
Sure. So before Impact Market, I was working a lot in the digital philanthropy space. So there is different aspects that then I started to look at the blockchain potential. So in one side, like when we think about giving or supporting vulnerable communities or local charities, we think that too much about like the giving part, but the real problem is the distributing the funds, not raising the funds. And also there is a lot of issues on the transparency and the intermediaries, like how much money is trapped along the way. But also then if you think a little more closely, most of the end beneficiaries that actually need this kind of giving, they aren't bankers and they live in very constrained conditions, or because of the government or the banks or the inflation. There is a lot of issues around that. Also, at the same time, there was since the Bitcoin white paper was released that okay, bank at the unbanked. But when we think about actually the technology itself, like it's very difficult for someone in again a refugee camp to actually make a transaction a few cents and actually understand how blockchain works. So that was kind of where we want to focus, is the 2 billion unbanked that actually can leverage and need this kind of technology, because a lot of the places where we are in, there is nothing else. There is no, or almost nothing related to digital finance. It's the first time that people are dealing with that. So that's also why we are using the Celo network, because it's mobile friendly. You can use native stable coins without need to have a native asset to pay for gas. And you can pay in a stable coin, for example, associated with the dollar, a few cents, very fast and almost for free.
Oh, that's great. Great. That was quite an exciting update. So in your own words, what do you think is ImpactMarkets' main value proposition to the blockchain industry?
Well, I think we are bringing actually this technology to the people that most usually don't have access to it. So when we think a lot about the crypto space, there is a lot of trading and pricing, and when we think about adoption, there are a lot of indicators that we usually look like, volumes and also other kind of indicators that usually is not what blockchain should be or was aimed to be addressing. In this case, we are bringing a lot of the end bankers and the people that actually need this technology on board. When we think about unconditional basic income, it's a very good incentive for people to actually start using it. So we go to the places where actually there is extreme poverty and people are just have some kind of connectivity and some kind of device, so they can actually use this technology to transfer value directly among themselves for services and goods, but also across borders, permissionless. So I think that we are being focused on bringing those users, but also it's not about the volume, but how many transactions they are making among themselves. So bringing actually that kind of utility to this industry. I think that is most where we are focused on. At the same time, it's important to understand that a lot of a big potential on the blockchain industry is giving ownership to those that participate in networks. So imagine that you can think of as like a kind of a decentralized open development bank. As people participate and use it and ask for credit or contribute to the DAO, they also own ownership of this, let's say, decentralized banking system. So the people are actually the owners of it. And this is kind of a different kind of mindset also to the people we work with.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, my next question kind of hints to what you were just talking about right there with the users and all, right? But what potential does ImpactMarket hold for Web3 users and builders?
Yeah, so part of what we have been building is a product that we call Learn and Earn. So it's a very easy way for other projects to actually tap into our audience. So if projects want to, let the people in developing countries or that are unbanked to learn more about other products or services or even other kind of learn the new skills, they can easily create a kind of a small course and basically let people know about what they're doing and also get some token rewards to them. At the same time, we can work with other protocols to actually redirect some of their, let's say, income or revenue, or even to donate directly to support these communities. And at the same time, we have a mechanism that is a kind of an impact farming, we call it, where by contributing to the protocol, you can earn some of PACT tokens. So this way you own kind of also ownership in the protocol. And there is also a correlation between as we grow, the more we grow, the more transactions we can create and more people we can reach. Also, there is also a little more demand and liquidity that is built, the DAO automatically builds around our token. So it's a kind of, we like to see this as a kind of a triple win situation where other project, most of what we have built is open source, and anyone can easily kind of reach out to us and connect to our DAO and tap into our current features.
Okay, we'll tap into a little bit and get to know where users can then, get in touch with you, right? But moving on, what role does your core team at ImpactMarket play in the ecosystem building, and what is your strategy?
All right. So for now, we are kind of divided as a DAO, and there is a company as well. So the company is a participant on the DAO and proposes new features or new mechanisms and slightly changes on the architecture. And eventually we want to, as a company, just to become more, less, or have the DAO less dependent on the company. The company also develops a wallet, but ultimately it's the DAO that governs everything. So all our users, they can stake, they can submit proposals, they can vote on proposals on any kind of mechanism that we are developing. As a strategy, we are looking to become, let's say, for those that know, a kind of a decentralized Gramming bank. So it's an open financial system. Recently, we made some key partnerships, like with Opera. We have been working a lot with the Cell Foundation, and also with a lot of cash-in and cash-out providers in developing countries. So we want to be kind of embedded and a key provider to these markets that currently are untapped by traditional financial systems. We have been also working with a lot of local development banks and also a lot of MFIs. So when you think about an infrastructure to provide access to finance to those that don't have access, we want to become like the main player on those markets.
Oh, wow. Well, that's great. And then to the next question is, what are your future plans? Do you have any exciting partnerships or events coming up for Impact Market?
Yeah, so as I was briefly mentioning, Opera launched their own wallets. There's a MiniPay that is very focused in Africa mainly, and they have currently over 500 million downloads. So we are currently the first and only dApp being featured directly on their wallets, as they are expanding initially in Nigeria and then to all over Africa. So we believe that we'll be one of the biggest steps in Africa very, very soon. Also, we are working with several development banks. And besides that, we have been working with large institutions that already provide a lot of cash-based transfers, like World Food Program, but also other institutions like Berkeley University and Mercy Corps, and a few others that we will announce soon. Basically in two ways. One, to help being more efficient on these cash transfers to reach the end beneficiaries, because a lot of also the beneficiaries that we reach, they are not only unbanked, some of them don't even have an ID, or as they are refugees and they are going across countries. And the other thing is actually measuring the impact. So it's not just about giving people money and seeing like they pay for basic needs. It's actually then measuring the economic developments, like what's the volume, how many different wallets they are transacting with, how many local merchants are accepting now these stable coins. And on top of that, we are building new kind of mechanisms that enables, for example, the people to, by using our token, to use it as a collateral for example, instant microcredit, or even get better conditions on these kind of financial services. So other partnership that we are now establishing is with Gainforest, that basically measure the conservation incentives. So, for example, people that are measuring the trees and measuring like the preservation of the nature to create a kind of a conservation basic income. So people that are planting trees and keeping them and making sure that nature is being conserved, they can also earn some kind of basic income. So ultimately, we can bring this kind of, we call it 3Ps, so the people, planet, and prosperity together in the same decentralized ecosystem.
Yeah. It seems like you're bringing solutions to real world problems right now. That sounds pretty cool, man. I'm excited to hear more when you have other announcements that are coming up. So last but not least, last question. Could you please share the best way for the community to learn more about your project?
Sure. So the first place to go usually is our website, impactmarket.com, but also on our Telegram channel that you can find also on our website. Also in our website, there is a kind of a docs section where we try to explain all the different layers and the different implementations. And there are a lot of videos as well. You can find a lot of the stories from our beneficiaries as they share like pictures and the videos of their daily lives and how we are improving their lives. So basically, our website, you can reach out to Telegram or through X/Twitter. That's where we have been mostly active.
Yeah, and you can find all those links on our Twitter. We'll have all those links up on the BTSE Twitter if you guys are interested in looking into Impact Market. So that ends the questionnaire segment of this AMA, and we'll move on to the live Q&A session. So anyone that's interested in asking Marco any questions, just please raise your hand, and we'll have Marco pick out a couple of you guys to ask.
All right, great. So I will pick some from the list of the requests. I think I will give priority to those that also follow me. So let's go with the Starboy. Okay. Or the DeFi OGD.
DeFi OGD. Okay, we'll go Starboy, then DeFi OGD. Hey, Starboy, can you hear us?
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, great space so far. So my question actually, I just want to know basically what has been your strategy, reaching out to non-English speaking users. Have you been able to, impact your projects in regions like this?
So, which language speaking users?
I believe you said English speaking users.
Oh, how are we addressing reaching out to English speaking users? Is that the question?
No, have you been able to reach out to users who are not able to speak English? Have you been able to onboard these users?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, great question. Yes. So, for example, we are in a lot of countries like Peru, Afghanistan, Brazil. We are from Portugal, and we have our team. We have a lot of ambassadors in these countries. So it's a kind of a network of ambassadors that love our mission and help us through that. And most of our products, the DApp and the wallet, it has different languages. So even in places where it's very difficult. So we believe that user experience together with the language and being as clear and simple as possible is key to drive adoption. But also having people on the ground that are kind of supporters of our mission that can directly interact with the end beneficiaries and community managers or local charities that are supporting us is very important for us. So we have a kind of in-house translation.
Okay, Starboy, thank you for your question. We'll move on to the second DeFi OGD.
Okay, so I have to choose another, right? Let's go with the Dream Concept 7, so Dot, I think.
Dot.
Thank you so much for bringing me up. Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you, Dot.
Yeah, my question is, what are the attractive features in your project? What is the vision and goals in your project that you want to achieve in this year and beyond?
All right. So in terms of features, we have been very focused on building, let's say, centralized credit or micro lending infrastructure, where even people without or collateral or no on-chain history should be able to access credit and have the right incentives for that. We are looking to reach, let's say, like during the next year, more than 1 million users, on-chain 1 million users, and also become one of the biggest, let's say, micro lending decentralized infrastructures. For that, it's very key that we can actually create what we call on-chain reputation scoring, together with incentives that are aligned with good behavior, and basically the more people participate and bring to the protocol, the more they can be rewarded. So, and all of this should be directly on chain. So the more we step aside or rely on or do not rely on off-chain information or data, the better. So yeah, hope I answered. And the more we work with current institutions that are looking to provide, financial institutions that are looking to provide more efficiency and also more transparency in their services.
All right, Marco, thank you for that answer. Dot, thanks for that question. And we'll move on.
Thank you so much.
Marco, we need 3 more listeners.
Let's go with maybe Sarah, Zini Bells.
Zini Bells. Just give us a second.
Okay.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Sarah. Go ahead.
All right. So I just wanted to know, what are your plans for global expansion? Are you focusing on building or partnerships? Are you also planning to extend to countries where English isn't spoken?
Yes, I think it's all of both. Yeah, so our focus on expansion is actually like the countries where there is much more limitations on access to finance. We believe that access to finance is one of the biggest limiting factors for human empowerment, potential, and also opportunities. So we are very focused on Southeast Asia, Africa, and South America as our primary markets. We are currently in countries like Ukraine or other conflict zones because due to what is happening there. But our focus is much more like where we believe people need it the most. And most of those countries are not English speaking natively. So we have been very focused and dedicated on having several languages that can easily, and working with local partners that can easily translate and describe what we do in a very simple way. At the same time, working but more now with local financial institutions, so we can bridge this gap if people need to cash out or cash in, or if these local institutions are looking for better infrastructure to actually provide their services. So all of above are in our plans. At the same time, improving a lot of our infrastructure, not only. Oh, sorry. not only on smart contract basis, but also in terms of the wallet and UX UI.
Sarah, I hope that answers your question. We'll move on to
Yeah,
the next.
thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. So going for, let me see here. Skylar. So Skylar OS.
Hello.
Hi, Skylar.
Thank you, sir, giving me opportunity. So, my question is, how does your project aim to address the three core issues in the blockchain industry: security, scalability, and interoperability? Thank you.
All right. So let me see if I got it. Our project addresses the trilemma. So in this case, we are, let's say, a protocol on top of the seller network. The seller network is the blockchain that actually tries to address this. Eventually, they will become, or they are planning to become an L2 on Ethereum. But they are very focused on mobile friendly. They are a proof of stake chain. So far, they were not hacked until now. So in our case, it's a very fast and very cheap network as native stablecoin, so people can easily use it without need to pay for gas with a different token. So it helps a lot on getting people on board. And they have a very fast block finality. So so far, it has been great. It's cheap. It can onboard a lot of users. It's mobile friendly, so it runs on any kind of smartphone. So it's a very specific blockchain built for use cases that we are addressing. But in this case, I will recommend to look into Celo.org. That is actually the blockchain that we are using. So they are more focused on that. We build on top of that. All right. So the last one?
Yeah, one more, please.
All right. So maybe, okay, let's go with Jason.
Jason from
It's
Canada, right?
Jasonic. Yes. I'm sorry for everyone else. They can reach out to us.
Hey, Jason, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so my question, I see you offer 29.9% on your staking. So how sustainable is this for your token in the long run?
Oh, good question. Yeah, you can find more about how our token economics works, but part of the total supply, we are not it doesn't print more token. It's a total fixed supply, where 40% of the total supply was locus, and every epoch it releases a little less tokens every day as a exponential reducing rate. So those tokens are allocated to different participants on our protocol. So between donors, stakers, borrowers, learner users, or people that refer our protocol to others. So basically, it calculates like how much are you staking versus how much others are donating. So every day, less tokens become available or allocated to the different participants. So that's how it's calculated. How much is at staking and how much tokens are being available every day. So if you see, for example, tomorrow or in 1 month, that APR should be less if the same number of tokens still being staked. But everything is very dynamic because it depends on how many people have participated and how much they have contributed every day. So what we believe as it's sustainable because like the supply is fixed and every day less tokens become available, and it will happen during the next 10 plus years.
All right. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Jason, for your question. And thank you, Marco, for your insights. That's a wrap for the Q&A segment of the CMA. So, Marco, do you have any last words for all of our listeners?
Sure. Yes. Thank you for being here and excited for the listing tomorrow. It's I think here I don't think we see a lot of projects that are have a very mission driven, but at the same time try to actually bring finance to the 2 billion unbanked. So part of the way people can support us is by basically like having your token, participating in the governance or staking. It helps on the other side. The way we are building these mechanisms. Also, like any country, we are open to reach out if you want to join us as ambassadors or if you have any questions. We would love to have your support and answer your questions. So if you are from a country that you believe it's the solution that we are providing, feel free to reach out. And thanks for BTSE for having us. Really appreciate.
Yeah, that's not a problem, Marco. It's a pleasure for us to have you. And as Marco mentioned earlier, we'll be listing your token tomorrow on Bitsy.com. So that is a wrap for this Bitsy Twitter Space AMA segment on Twitter. To everyone that's tuned in to this AMA, all the prize winners will be announced on Twitter. If you see your name on the winners list, please message us with your details, and everyone else who is listening, thanks again for tuning in. Please follow Impact Market and Bitsy on Twitter to stay up to date with our latest developments. Thank you all for attending this Bitsy Impact Twitter AMA. We look forward to seeing you guys all on Bitsy. For more details on how to join Bitsy, please visit www.bitsy.com or download Bitsy on the mobile app on the Google Play Store or the App Store. You guys all have a great week. Thank you again, Marco, for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
All right, take care.
Don't miss out on the latest updates and insights from Bitsy. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and follow us on other social media platforms. Find the links in the description box below and stay connected with us today.